Hi, my name is Michelle Minot. Welcome to Biz and Breakfast with Michelle. The next 45 minutes can seriously change your life. I'm going to show you how to make strong financial decisions that can impact your future and change it for the better. Hello and welcome to Biz and Breakfast with Michelle. I'm your host, Michelle Minot, and if you're a bit of a foodie and you love to talk business and finance over a great meal, well, you're in the right place. We have two great guests for you today. Our first guest is Chef Hassan Adunola. He comes to us from Chef Hassan Kitchen, and he's going to be making our meal this morning. Our second guest is Mark McLaughlin from More Mortgage, and he is the founder and principal mortgage broker for More Mortgage, and he's going to be talking to us a little bit about real estate and the mortgage industry. Also, we're going to discuss some recent changes to the mortgage industry that I find a little concerning, but so you don't want to miss that talk, okay? So without further ado, let's welcome our first guest, Chef Hassan. Welcome, Chef. How are you? Have a seat, please. So, Chef Hassan, tell us about your business. Tell us who you are.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Chef Hassan, owner and founder of Chef Hassan's Kitchen. The business focuses on private dining, catering, special events, and corporate events. So we've been open for 7 to 8 years now. So we focus a lot. We push a lot of major events from the banking industry, from the universities, the corporations, the TD Bank, BMO Bank. We also work with a lot of athletes, a lot of the Raptors, a lot of the artists in the city. And we've been able to be successful with the business, and we're growing more and more every single day.
That's amazing. So I heard before we got on the show, you're a baller.
Yes.
And so how did you get into this from, going from basketball to this?
Well, interesting enough, what I did was I went into UFT, University of Toronto, for kinesiology, Bachelor of Sciences.
Nice.
Before I was apprenticeship to be a chef.
Okay.
So while I was doing that, I finished that, and I was like, you know what? I like the science of everything. So I got into kinesiology, Bachelor of Science at UFT.
Okay.
And then I got a varsity scholarship to play on the UFT team too.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
And then from the varsity team, you got into, how did you get into, what interested you about cooking? I just find that that's so fascinating to me.
Well, the thing is, I always loved cooking.
Okay.
I've been cooking since I was 5-6 years old, and I always had an interest in it. So when I started working in different golf courses, like major golf courses, I apprenticed with a lot of major chefs that were working in banquet halls, regular fine dining restaurants. I learned a lot from them, and I'm like, let me put a twist to it, and let me bring it to the market that I have in me from university, from the aspect of it. So going into kinesiology, also learning about the science of the body, and then incorporating that into food, and then incorporating that, and then now bringing it out to where it's not just catering or just cooking. It's a global scale of a business where it's corporate events, private events, special events, catering. So a wide variety for everyone to be able to see what's happening.
Very nice. And do you find that with your background in kinesiology and working with people, Toronto Raptors, for instance, do you find there has to be a strong health component to what you do?
Oh, 100%, right? It's not about just the food, right? Some people can say they can cook, but it's the level of cooking that you have to do, and the level of understanding that comes with the actual food itself. So that's what makes it my business a little bit different, because of the school background and also the cooking background. So we're able to do a lot of fine dining, Caribbean, Italian cuisines, and mix it up. So we have a large catering menu for everyone that orders their catering, and then our special events, we create menus for people based on their needs too. So it's a one-stop shop for everything, basically.
Very nice. And did you find that the pandemic affected your business in any way?
No, I didn't find. I actually thrived in the pandemic while everybody was
Right.
unfortunately going down a little bit. I kind of pivoted a little bit where everything we're doing like Sunday deliveries to 100, 200
Wow.
people, and we're pushing it out. And then
Wow.
a lot of people were doing a lot of private events, so private home events.
That's
So like
true.
let's say 20 people, 30 people, 40 people will bring it to their home, serve appetizers, maybe on dessert, entree, whatever they need,
Okay.
and we'll place it. So it brought that COVID brought everyone together intimately. So
That's
then
true.
instead of just the kitchen, we're able to bring the food to them and then bringing that personality to their own kitchen. And that's what the brand is about.
Very nice. I love that. And so I find too that a lot of the trend has shifted where people don't even want to cook at home anymore. They want to order in. They want to, because COVID kind of spoiled us. And so you must be thriving because of that
Oh yeah, for
mentality.
sure. Personality is a thing too. So like, when it comes to me, when I'm doing like, I don't know if anyone knows Scarborough Shooting Stars. I work majorly with a lot of those guys. The semi-pro league in Canada now in Scarborough.
Okay.
They call it the Ends. So a lot of times, like when we do events for them or when we do private events, it's all the personality. So now bring that personality to people's homes, and now you're not just eating food, you're enjoying the events, you're enjoying the company of the people, and you're enjoying the chef. You can have a
That's
chef
right.
that comes to your house that
And
just
not
sad
be
and boring, right?
personable, right?
And that personality and that
That's
personable
right.
skills also plays a role in how much people enjoy the food and the
Wow.
memory that they remember of when they actually remember that event that they just did. So it all comes together, and it's a package, right? It's a package deal.
That's right. And so, do you mentor? Like, do you give back to the community or
Oh yeah.
mentor in some way?
Oh, 100%. I grew up in the Gin and Wilson community,
Oh,
and I just moved
nice.
out when I was at UFT. I started at York University, and I transferred to UFT actually. So I actually have a nonprofit youth program that I run out of Chalk
Wow.
Farm. It's called Gains, which is Great Achievement Involves Numerous Sacrifices.
Sorry, can you say that slower?
Gains, as in great achievement, involves numerous sacrifices.
Okay, I love that.
So it's just bringing back to the community, bringing back to the level ground, where we were it's a deep mentorship program where we're doing workshops, corporate events for them to see what's going on, cooking classes for the kids too, bringing in resume writing, and also bringing them different trips so they can see what their circle don't allow them to see, right? A lot of parents over there, they're really busy working, trying to make the funds and make ends meet.
That's
So
right.
sometimes the kids and the youth tend not to get the opportunities that other people get. So it's
Yes,
about
that's
closing
so
that.
true.
It's about closing that gap, that margin, that income gap, and also that intellectual and cognitive gap
That's
too.
right.
And we also have a scholarship program that we also fund kids to go to college and university. So building it now, and one of our sponsors, actually TD Bank,
Wow.
they've been able to help build that program more and more. So we're thankful for them too.
That's wonderful. I grew up in Jane and Finch. I was in Shoreham when I was a
Yes,
little
yes,
girl,
yes.
and then we moved to Driftwood.
See?
But me too, like I have a really strong connection, and I really have a strong sense of community. And I find that that's what happens when people grow up in those areas, like Jane and Finch, Jane and Wilson. I find that a lot of people have such a strong sense of community,
The
and they
community is
want to
everything.
give back.
The
to
community is
make it-
everything, right?
That's
You
right.
you gotta remember where you came from. You gotta know the roots of where you
That's
came from, so
right.
you always stay level grounded and stay
That's right. I
stay
think that's
sound
important.
in your mind too, right? So you gotta know where you came from, where you're trying to go, and
That's
so
right.
you gotta know your past so you to know your future. And if you can bring it back to the youth, bring it back to the community,
I
it's
agree.
an awesome feeling, and it's to be able to help anybody, right?
Yes, I agree.
And just pass out that love, pass out the joy.
That's right. I agree with you. And so, how do we contact you in both organizations? If you
Well,
can let us know.
the Gains program, you can always go on gainstoronto.com to find out, and you can have all the information that goes on there. For the business itself, you can always find us at Chef Hassan's Kitchen. So ChefHassans
Right.
I mean,
And we're showcasing your website right now.
oh
And
yes,
you know what's so funny? I went on your website, right? And I chose gallery.
Yes.
I got hungry watching your gallery. It was so good.
Yes,
I
so-
was like, oh my gosh, this looks so delicious,
yes,
you know?
yes, yes. Right. It just for the corporate people, for everyone, website is always the first thing people look at. So we always make sure we keep on brand from the website, the look to the logo itself. Everything is on brand, and we actually even updating this website right now to incorporate all the special events, the corporate events that I was talking about, and all the special events, so people can have a visualization when they come on the website. It's good right now, but it's going to be better. There's always another step before.
Always another step, right?
But they can find me on that website, and they can also find us on IG, just Chef Hassan TV, so ChefHassan TV, and then you can find us on the website, like I said, chefhassanskitchen.com. Okay.
And your organization.
And the organization
that you give back.
So that is Gains. So you can find that on GainsToronto.com. But on Instagram, it's _GINS. GAINS. Sorry.
Nice. Okay, so we're going to take a short break, but before we do, tell us what you'll be preparing today.
Well, came on the show. I hope you guys are hungry, so we made a little bit of something for you. So my favorite fan, I'm more of a brunch person, so I mix the breakfast and brunch together. Nice. So we're starting off with some chicken and waffles that we have, and then we also have some omelets. So tomato, onion, and cheese omelet that we're gonna start with, and then also we have some fruits on the side and a little smoothie for you guys to just to try, just to enjoy, and then we can always do more stuff for you guys on a later date.
Of course, I love that. Okay, so Chef Hassan is going to head to the kitchen, and we'll be right back after these messages. Are you looking for the perfect home or trying to navigate today's changing market? Whether you're buying or selling, contact Michelle Minot for real estate advice you can count on. For professional and reliable service, go to finditgta.ca or call 647-739-4663. Are you looking for the perfect home or trying to navigate today's changing market? Whether you're buying or selling, contact Michelle Minot for real estate advice you can count on. For professional and reliable service, go to finditgta.ca or call 647-739-4663.
More Mortgaging. We do real estate financing and mortgages. We do purchases, refinances, first, second, and third mortgages, home equity loans, etc.
Are you looking for the perfect home or trying to navigate today's changing market? Whether you're buying or selling, contact Michelle Minot for real estate advice you can count on. For professional and reliable service, go to finditgta.ca or call 647-739-4663. Hi, welcome back. Right now we're joined by Mark McLaughlin from More Mortgage. And for those of you who may not know, Mark and I used to work together years ago. Well, we worked together on a project, and we ran into each other just by chance, and now we're reconnected. So I'm so happy to have you on the show. Mark is the founder and principal mortgage broker at More Mortgage, and he's going to be talking to us about mortgage financing. So welcome, Mark.
Thanks, Michelle. I appreciate you having me.
It's so great to have you. I'm so excited to reconnect with you, actually. And, you know, to see that you own your own brokerage right now, I find that just so awesome.
Yeah. I guess when we first met, I was actually just getting into the business. It was probably, 2010?
Probably.
Probably around there, 2009, 2010. Yeah. And we met through a mutual friend.
That's right.
I think we did a couple events together.
Yes, that's right.
And I didn't know what I was doing, but
you hit it well.
Yeah.
You were really professional.
I tried, and then 12, 13 years later, here I am. So
I love
it. It's amazing reconnecting with you.
Absolutely. So tell us about More Mortgage.
Yeah, More Mortgage. We're a brokerage. We've been around since 2015.
Okay.
Prior to that, I worked for TD Bank, and I worked for several other brokerages.
Okay.
The idea was to kind of take everything I had from previous brokerages that I liked and make it very agent friendly, right? So I kind of took everything that I liked from the other brokerages and I made my own and said, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go into this full time.
Wow, very nice.
It took a couple of years to get, where I am right now, but it was all worth it. The hard work was worth it. So.
Okay, nice. And so tell me what exactly you do.
So we offer financing. So just like you walk into a bank, we deal exclusively with mortgages. So we don't do any personal loans or anything, but it's just home loans. Now, you usually come to someone like us when you're looking for the lowest rate. Maybe if you're self-employed and you maybe don't show a lot on paper. When there's maybe bad credit or, maybe some issues on the file that maybe you can't get around with the traditional banks.
Yes.
That's typically when you come to someone like us, and we're able to have alternative lenders, maybe a trust company or credit unions or different options for clients at reasonable rates and terms. So that's typically what we do.
And so you deal with like first, second mortgages. Do you also finance for a construction project? You do that sort of thing?
Absolutely. So we do commercial mortgages, we do construction loans, we do first, second, third mortgages, we do bank mortgages, trust company mortgages. So any mortgage you can think of, we can do, as long as there is a property involved. We can typically get financing for it.
Okay, nice. And so I'm going to dive in. Like, there's been so many changes in the mortgage industry.
Absolutely.
And over the last year, constant increases in mortgage rates. So tell me about that. And for those in our audience that don't understand, who is the body responsible for the increase? Explain that to us.
Yeah. Well, as you saw in the market, at the beginning of 2021, 2020 through to 2022, there was an increase in prices.
Yes.
Interest rates were super, super low.
That's right.
So there was a buying frenzy. Everyone wanted to get in. Everything was going over asking. And the old additive, what goes up must come down, right? So now we've seen what's called a correction in the market. That's what they say, correction where things have kind of tapered off. Interest rates have risen significantly, almost 3 times what they were a year or two ago. And it kind of, it's the good thing. I like to look for the silver lining in things. Even in the worst situations. But although the interest rates are high right now, as you know in your industry too, you can get some good deals on some properties because property values have actually come down because of that, because people aren't buying as much now as they were a year ago. So people are motivated to sell. And if they'll sell at maybe a reduced cost just to get the sale, right? So it's been challenging the last 6 months. From our perspective as a mortgage brokerage, like all our lenders have kind of scaled back to offset the downturn in some of the property values. But the silver lining is that rates are coming down. I believe that they will come down over the next 6 months. Summer typically is a hot time for real estate and mortgages. So I can see it coming down significantly probably within the next 6 months. Will you see the 1.5 rates again? Probably not. But I think you'll see, somewhere, within the 3 to 4%, maybe as a median. And I think that'll be the new normal going forward. That's what I personally think.
So you don't think that rates will continue to climb, the interest rates, you think it might taper off and maybe even go down?
Absolutely. I think it'll flatten out and go down. A lot of speculation, people think they may go up. The Bank of Canada has a rate announcement the end of January. So we'll find out then if they go up or down. But I think to put it up would be quite difficult on a lot of Canadians, right?
Yes,
So
that's
I
right.
think hopefully it'll
put
it'll
it
taper
down.
off and
Okay.
come down. So I like to stay positive.
I hope so. I hope so, because I find that, you know, a lot of Torontonians, I'll talk about Torontonians, they can't so much afford anymore to live in the city. So we see a mass exodus of people buying outside of Toronto. So my question is, they couldn't afford the housing prices because they were too high, and still somewhat too high. But if you raise interest rates, it still takes them out of the market because now they're paying more for a mortgage and they can't afford it still. So I don't know really how it makes sense.
Yeah, no, and it unfortunately it's kind of over our heads, right? As far
Right.
as why the interest rates are go up, but I'll give you the layman terms.
Yes, please.
Typically, with inflation, when they try to cool down a hot market, typically this is what happens, right?
Okay.
Inflation goes up. People are buying left, right, and center. To cool it down to kind of level the playing field. Typically, the rates go up. So
Right.
I think in this case, I think a lot of you'll see things go up, but this is going to be the new norm, unfortunately.
I know.
And I think we just have to get used to it.
I know.
The 3-4% are going to be good rates now, and
Yeah.
your mortgage payment is going to be higher.
That's right.
But the silver lining is, I think you can get maybe better real estate deals as far as prices are concerned. You won't be priced out of the market no more. You're not going to have bidding wars
That's true.
as
As
you've
much as
probably
you-
seen
yeah,
in the past.
absolutely.
So I think that'll be a positive in
Okay.
this climate. So
And so the difference between fixed and variable.
yeah.
So are the people that have a variable mortgage hurting right now with the increase in interest rates?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like to describe fixed and variable. It's kind of
Yes,
like,
please do.
yeah, I'll describe the difference between the two for some of the
Right.
viewers that don't know.
That's right.
Fix is, you have a set rate. There's a term attached to it, a 5-year or 2-year, 3-year, whatever the
right.
case may be, and your payment does not change over that period of time until the term is
Exactly.
over. You might be offered a renewal, and then you can go on from there. Variable is kind of like I describe it as the casino, right? So it's a typically lower than the
Right,
fixed,
right.
but it can fluctuate. So 1 month you can have a payment of $1,200. If your prime rate goes up, then you might have a payment of $1,500 the next month.
Wow.
But typically, variable rates are lower than fixed
Yes,
rates, right?
yes.
So depending on your time in the real estate market,
Right.
some people love to do variable rates because they're getting cheaper rates than the fixed.
Right.
But you have to, there's a flip side to it. It is a gamble. So
That's
to
right.
answer your question, yes, a lot of people are struggling with the variable rates right now because
Right.
they're just as high as the fixed rates.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so would you advise somebody to lock in to a fixed rate at this point in time because of the uncertainty of the interest rate increase or decrease, or would you tell them still a variable, it makes sense?
Yeah, I think short-term variable makes sense now.
Okay.
So whether you're going to do a variable, you can do a variable. Typically, variables are easier to break.
Okay.
So let's say, hypothetically, you go into a 5-year variable,
Yes.
and 2 years from now, rates go down. Great, you can break it with, a very small penalty, a
Right.
reasonable penalty.
Right.
Now, if you take the same scenario and have a fixed rate and you break 2 years in, that's a pretty large penalty you're going to
That's
pay.
true.
So I tell people go variable for the short
For
term,
short term.
or go like a 1 or 2 year fixed term, like something short term, so that you
Okay.
can see where the market goes and the
Right.
rates go, and then you
Right.
can adjust accordingly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they announced, the government of Canada, a major mortgage change with regards to foreign investors. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the foreign investor piece is, before you could be someone overseas
Yeah.
that wants to invest in Canada, maybe buy a property,
Right.
and you'd be subject to a tax, but you could buy a property
Still buy,
in
yeah.
Canada, right? From another country.
Right.
That's done. So, you
Yeah.
know, that foreign investment money that was coming in for years
Yeah.
is now obsolete. So
Wow.
that leaves a lot of people, a lot of foreign investors aren't going to want to necessarily invest in Canada.
Yeah.
I think, again, the silver lining in things is they may have families or stuff like that. So there's ways to get around it. You know, I'm sure you have family abroad. I have
Right.
family abroad.
Right.
If they really wanted to invest in Canada, they could reach out to us and we could
Right.
arrange something to make it
I
work in their
understand.
favor, right?
Yeah,
So,
I understand. Because I heard that maybe this might only run for 2 years, but I'm not 100% certain.
yeah, I think it's a trial period.
trial.
They haven't said that,
Oh,
but I
see.
think the rumblings are it's a trial period for
Okay,
now,
okay.
and then they will see if this is something they want to keep, you know, long term or
It's
short term, right?
unbelievable.
So.
But there are ways around it, as you were saying. Like it's if you're a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, you can still purchase.
Absolutely.
I don't know about students or something. I know that there are some exceptions.
Absolutely. There's obviously permanent residents. If you have a working visa here,
Yes. Yeah.
if you're a student here,
Yes.
there's ways around
ways
it. If you have
around it.
family here, you could do something like a gifted down payment to purchase
Exactly.
on their behalf. So
Exactly.
there's creative ways around it within the
Yes.
rules
That's
that you
right.
can still foreign investors can still invest in Canada and buy
Right.
property. Yeah.
And so do you think, because when I heard, they said foreign investment only makes up a small percentage of the overall market, but I don't know if that's true. So what percentage of your sales or your business is from foreign investors, would you say?
I would say, yeah, I would say it's minimal,
Okay.
at best. You know, I'd say for our business, maybe about, 10 to 15% of
Okay.
our business is
Okay.
maybe something foreign or foreign
But that's
investors.
still fairly significant if you
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah. So
Because what I heard is like 1-2%, but I thought, I think that it might be a little bit more than that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it really depends on who you're dealing with, right? I think the major banks, it's probably a small percentage of it.
Yes.
For someone like myself, who deals with a lot of outside the box financing, typically we get those situations quite often, right?
Right,
Where
that's
there's
so true.
where there's some difficult
That's
challenges.
true. So they may go to you specifically because you're capable of dealing with those challenges.
That's right. Where the
So-
major bank, kind of, they're
I
kind
get
of,
you.
they're just like, yeah, we don't really do this, and
I get
you know,
you.
so where I'm gonna try to get it done, because obviously, I'm getting a commission, so I'm gonna
right.
try my best to get it done for the client.
Yeah, for me, being in real estate, I usually always suggest to my clients that they go, unless they have a great relationship with their bank, that they go to a mortgage broker, because the way I explain it is that a mortgage broker is able to search so many lenders and give them the best options, whereas their bank is only one bank and one solution. So do you search like multiple lenders as well? I'm sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
We deal with a lot of the major banks, so TD, Scotia,
Right.
National Bank, but we also deal with, like I was saying earlier, trust companies, credit unions that may look at the situation or the financial situation quite different than the bank.
Right.
We also have secondary lenders, which we call private lenders, that will do
Okay.
it just based on equity. So we have several options to get people approved in all different situations.
Okay.
So we do a wide range. We can get you the best rate, but we can also get someone that only shows, cash as income,
That's
a mortgage
true.
as well.
That's
So we
exactly
can
right.
cover a wide range of areas for financing.
Okay, very
Yeah.
nice. Now, last year, I heard a lot about mortgage fraud.
Yes.
So I don't fully understand that. So how are people defrauding the system?
Well, there's several ways. Obviously, a mortgage industry, that's a big push for them,
Okay.
to get rid of those people that are doing it.
Yes.
A lot of people do documentation and
Okay.
other unethical stuff that doesn't help our industry at all, right?
Understand. So like falsifying documents.
Yeah, and stuff like that.
Oh, I
so
understand.
you may have heard in the news now. There's several things on the news, investigations and stuff like that, where people were, pretending to be homeowners and stuff like that, and doing everything through the lawyers. So it is prevalent in our industry.
Yeah.
I would say, there's probably 10 to 15% of people doing it.
Right.
But we don't do that type of business anyways, so I'm not really worried about them. I kind of govern my own brokerage and make sure that we're doing things right.
That's exactly right.
We do our due diligence. We make sure that people send all their documentation. We verify. We double check, triple check, and then we kind of go from there. But yeah, there's unfortunately a lot of it.
Yeah.
But we try to deal with clients and be upfront and honest. And guess what? If we have an idea of if the client is doing any type of fraud or anything, we just won't do the file. So we have no problem walking away and saying this is a little too risky.
Sketchy.
Yeah.
And I find it's really interesting because how people are even trying to defraud the system right now, because a lot of banks are being so keen. Like, a lot of lenders are being so extra careful. So I don't even understand why they would even try,
Yeah, and they think they can beat the system for some reason.
Yeah.
These banks have billions and billions of dollars to...
And they have years of experience.
They
know what to look for.
To put into infrastructure to alleviate those things.
Right.
So why even try?
I don't understand.
But we try to do things the right way. I've always done it that way. I think that's why I've been in the business so long, is because, we don't break the rules. So we will try to find a way within the rules to get everything done, right?
Yeah, and, integrity means a lot in this industry.
Absolutely.
My clients stay with me because I work with integrity and I operate in integrity. And when I reconnected with you, I know that about you.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm so happy to do business with you, because it's really not a lot of people that you can say that about. And I can definitely say that about you. So
that's right. And no, I appreciate it. And that's been the key to our success, has been being integral. Communication is key as well.
That's right.
People can get me anytime. I'm not the mortgage broker that's
true.
not answering his phone or hiding for 2 weeks and you can't get a hold of me. I'm very open, very honest. The people that, and me, I'm very transparent in my approach. And I think that goes a long way. I think when people deal with those type of people you're talking about, they come to me, they almost think like, there's a big difference when I deal with people, and they appreciate it. So
I agree. I had a deal, and the deal was falling through, and my client couldn't get a hold of his mortgage agent.
I believe
it. I was like, oh my gosh, at a time when you need to be present and available is when there's difficulty in the mortgage financing, when things start falling apart. You have to be available for your client.
Absolutely. And that's a reason why I love reconnecting with you, because I've known you for years, but I know your communication is like, that would never happen with me. I would talk, hey Michelle, this is what's going on. I'm gonna call your client right now. We would connect and try to figure out a way we could get it done.
That's absolutely
so this is actually, it's actually great that we've reconnected.
Absolutely.
Because now maybe some of those that fell through, we can actually get done now, because there's going to be clear communication, right?
And for those of you who are sitting in the audience that don't quite understand what we're saying, it's very important that the members, the parties involved in making a real estate transaction come together, communicate. And so it's very important that your real estate agent communicates with your real estate lawyer and your mortgage broker, and there's clear communication, because it's going to make the deal run so much smoother and so much better for every client. But unfortunately, that's not always the case. Unfortunately.
But it will be the case now.
It will be the case now. And so how would you advise, if someone has bruised credit, and they want to eventually own a home.
Yep.
How would you help them? How would you advise them?
Yeah, if you have bruised credit, there's a couple ways you can still get a mortgage. I think the most common way is to fix your credit, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's great to have a down payment, but if your credit's bruised, I would suggest, paying off some of your debts,
Right.
making sure your credit's stable and over, in our industry, 680 and above is great.
Right.
I typically tell people as well is, get a subscription to Equifax.
Okay.
I think it's $20
Right.
online.
And check your credit.
They
often.
give you a monthly update. You can do as
Right.
many checks as you want. I have that. My whole staff has it actually because I
Right.
promote it. I should get a check from Equifax, but I don't. No, it's a great tool so that
Yeah.
you can see if someone pulls your credit, if your credit goes down, it goes up. It'll actually give you a real time.
That's right.
Real time on what it is.
That's
and
right.
I think that's important. I think a lot of, credit, 20 years ago was a lot different. You just kind of have to guess and
Yes.
hope, and there's so much
But now it tells you specifically what's going on with you.
That's right.
That's right.
And now it's more transparent, so
Yeah.
you can actually watch your credit in real time
Right.
and govern it accordingly, where you
Right.
couldn't do that 20, 25 years ago.
That's
So
right.
so I think that's the first way I would say to get a mortgage with bad credit is fix your credit first.
Okay.
Secondly, if you have bad credit but and you want to purchase, you want a mortgage, I think the other way is to put 20% or more down.
That's true.
That's another angle. So you can put a lot more down payment.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of banks will look at that favorably.
Okay.
Because now you have more
invested
skin in the game. That's right. So the banks will look at you a lot different from that angle.
Yeah.
When you have additional down payment, they'll
That's
say,
right.
okay, you know what, his credit's bruised, but guess what? He's putting 25% down.
I get
So we
you.
feel comfortable. Okay, how is he going to pay the mortgage? He has a job. He has this. His
Yes.
credit's bruised. So they'll kind of give some forgiveness based on
I
additional
understand.
down payment.
I
Yeah.
understand. And would you think, well, in your opinion, do you think that people should buy or sell right now, or what do you say about the market?
I think to each his own, right?
Right.
I think it's a great buyer's market right now.
Right.
You're probably seeing that a lot.
Yeah.
I think you can get really good deals out there. So
Mm-hmm.
if you have a chance to buy it, that would be my first inclination.
I
Buy.
agree.
Buy when it's low.
Yeah.
Sell when it's high.
I
That's
agree.
that old additive.
I agree.
But yeah, I mean, I see, but I don't know if you've noticed, but on Realtor.ca, it seems like a lot of houses are going up for sale. So it's kind of,
Yes.
it's
That's exactly
yeah.
right.
So, but yeah, either or. Everyone has different situations.
Yeah.
I think based on your situation, do what you feel is best.
I agree
Call a
with you.
professional like yourself,
I
or
agree.
and then I'm sure Michelle can help you get it
I
sold.
agree.
So.
Okay, so can we get in touch with you?
Yeah, you can get in touch with me. We are located in Mississauga. We have a direct line, a 1866 number. Also, we have Instagram, More Mortgage on Instagram. Also on LinkedIn as well, Mark McLaughlin, a principal broker at More Mortgage. Or you can call me directly, 647-202-1420. So.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
No problem.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So great. And so we're going to take a break and we're going to head back to the kitchen.
More Mortgaging. We do real estate financing and mortgages. We do purchases, refinances, first, second, and third mortgages, home equity loans, etc.
Are you looking for the perfect home or trying to navigate today's changing market? Whether you're buying or selling, contact Michelle Minot for real estate advice you can count on. For professional and reliable service, go to finditgta.ca or call 647-739-4663.
More Mortgaging. We do real estate financing and mortgages. We do purchases, refinances, first, second, and third mortgages, home equity loans, etc.
Hi, welcome back. So we're here with Chef Hassan, who has created an amazing spread for us. So tell us what you've created this morning.
So right now, like I said, I'm a brunch person, so I love that mix of breakfast and lunch. That's just my favorite thing to cook and my favorite personally. So right here we have the omelet. So we have an omelet right here of vegetable omelet. We have the tomatoes in there, we have the onions, we have some peppers in there, and we also have some cheddar cheese in the middle. And then in the middle, we have everyone's favorite chicken and waffles with a little syrup on the side. And then we have assortment of fruits over here, and we made a little smoothie for you guys on the side.
And so what's in the smoothie?
So in the smoothie, we have bananas, we have strawberries, and we have a little bit of orange juice in there to give that nutrients flavor out.
Okay. Everything looks so delicious. Can I try?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay. Just want to try a little bit of this.
Don't worry, we have enough for you to package.
Oh, you know I'm gonna have.
We have enough for you to package.
I'm gonna link you up after. I'm
Don't
gonna
worry,
deal with this after.
Don't worry.
Okay, so how do we get in touch with you again?
So if you want to get in touch with us, please, you can find us on Instagram and TikTok, Chef Hassan TV. So CHEF TV. So Chef Hassan, CHEFHASSAN TV, and then you can find us on the website anytime.
Okay, and so any great events coming up that we should know about?
Yeah, so we have some corporate events coming up. We have some events coming up for First National Bank. We have some events coming up with BMO Bank, and we have some events coming up with our special events guys, like some of our artists in the.
Oh wow!
So that February's booked and summer's getting booked up right now. Especially
Are you kidding?
Yeah, the wedding seasons is coming too,
That's
so everyone's
true.
booking up. So
That's
if you
really
need to
true.
book us, please email us, message us, check on the website, or check the Instagram. You can get us through any kind of ways you want, and then we can talk about everything you need to talk about.
Okay, so remember that's Chef Hassan
TV.
Chef Hassan TV.
On the Instagram, and then chefhassanskitchen.com on the website.
Okay, and you say you cook for the Raptors as well?
Yes, so a couple of the guys.
Any notable names? Like
Notable names?
we should know about?
I'm not even.
Oh, you can't say. Don't worry.
Saying names out loud for that, but, disclosure.
It's okay. Just know that he does.
But we actually, another thing we actually brought up this year is that we actually bring a lot of booking classes. So bringing
that's right.
either cooking classes or like when people have birthdays, right?
Okay.
They want to have like a dine and talk. So we create an event. Let's say we come to your home. Everyone's cooking a little bit, but they're sipping margaritas.
And they're learning how to cook at the same time.
So that's a big
prepare a special meal.
Exactly. So that's a big component that we're adding into the 2023 as we update the website. We get to the next level of the business. So yeah, we love all the support matters. Love is love, right?
That's right. Love is love. Absolutely. Okay. So you can find me at BIZ and Breakfast on YouTube, BIZ and Breakfast, Facebook, and Instagram. So thank you for joining us today, and see us again next time. Thank you.
No problem.
Bye.